You are listening to the Nature's Premier Podcast, episode 32. Here on the Nature's Premier Podcast, we talk about everything from bees to babies and sustainable living. Join us while we talk about natural parenting and different ways to live a more sustainable lifestyle for ourselves and our future generations to come. Now let's begin. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Nature's Premier Podcast. I am your host, Brooke Nichols, and I am here to rock another educational episode for you all today. Today's podcast is sponsored by Nature's Premier Diaper Service, New York's premier cloth and compostable diaper service, providing families throughout Long Island and New York City with a healthier way to diaper their babies. Check them out at www.naturespremier.com to learn more. Now on to the show. On today's episode of the podcast, we are going to be talking about the rise of the reusables and the fight to reduce our carbon footprints and garbage consumption. So many people do not realize that there are many reusable options for items that they use daily. There is just not a lot of exposure and media attention on them. Today, you really have to do your research to find these companies. So I would like to dive into some of the daily household and kitchen and just simply everyday items that we use and the sustainability stats on them. And also highlight some indie type of companies that are staking their existence on switching more consumers to reusable products. We all know that we have a garbage problem. This is not new. A major, massive one. The average American produces more than 4 pounds of trash every single day, which is significantly more than the global average of 2.6 pounds. To give some perspective on how serious this issue is, treehugger.com highlighted the following statistics in this breakdown. 4.4 pounds and 245 million tons is the amount of trash generated daily, on average, by every American. Packed in cubic feet, it would be the height of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. There are over 22 billion plastic bottles thrown out each year. 12 feet is the height of a wall from Los Angeles to New York City that has been made from tossed office paper every single year. 300 laps around the equator could be made in paper and plastic cups, forks, and spoons disposed of annually. We have over 3,000 active landfills here in the States, with over 6,000 quote-unquote retired ones, also known as we ran out of room in them. 38.4 tons is the amount of garbage per person in Las Vegas landfills, and Alabama charges $19 to take another state's trash. 32% of Ohio's out-of-state trash comes from no other state than New York. So maybe more people will believe us when we say that we are in such a bad situation here in New York that we literally ship our trash to other states to get rid of it. How in the world is that sustainable? This is why you have companies like Nature's Premier that are cropping out, trying to take the load off of our landfills because we don't even have any landfills that we can really drop this stuff off at. I actually was talking to someone not too long ago, and they were saying how certain towns, especially on Long Island, are getting like fees from the government, from the state, because they have to, they have too much garbage they're picking up. They need a better recycling program, and that's the thing too. Like, people need education. They need to know how to recycle. You can't just, throw a bin to a consumer or to a resident and not show them how to recycle. So that's why it's really important for, more avenues, more media outlets to talk about the importance of recycling, because that's the only way that things are going to change. When someone has knowledge of how to do something better, then it always helps everybody in the long run. So with the garbage stats aside, you can see the issue, the major issue, and the big elephant in the room that not enough people are talking about. This is a very brief rundown, but the problem is ongoing and it's certainly growing. There is no end in sight, with many more alarming stats, but you get the idea for now. And it's something that we will certainly touch in a future episode, which will be on the book Garbage Land. So the truth is, this does not even cover the stats of commonly used items such as straws, plastic bags, diapers. The list literally goes on and on. And the sad truth is that our land is not only being turned into what author Elizabeth Roy refers to as garbage land, but our oceans are as well. They are probably even in more turmoil since people do not often think of our water and marine life that is affected by our daily consumptions of thousands of chemicals, plastics, petroleums every single day. According to oceancrusaders.org, it is now believed that there are 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic debris in the ocean. Of that mass, 269,000 tons float on the surface, while some 4 billion plastic microfibers per square kilometer litter the deep sea. One of the biggest daily items that we use every single day that is used globally and that is really killing our marine life and also, the ocean and our seas are plastic bags. Shoppers worldwide are using approximately 500 billion single-use plastic bags per year. This translates to about a million bags per minute across the globe, or 150 bags per year for every person on Earth, and the number is rising very fast. If you join them end on end, they would circumnavigate the globe 4,200 times if you joined every single bag together. 100,000 marine creatures a year die from plastic entanglement, and these are only the ones found. These are not mentioning the ones that are not found. Approximately 1 million seabirds also die from plastic. A plastic bag can kill numerous animals because they take so long to disintegrate. An animal that dies from the bag will decompose and the bag will be released. Another animal could harmlessly fall victim and once again eat the same bag that killed the previous animal. The floods in Bangladesh in 1988 and 1998 were made more severe because plastic bags clogged drains. The government has now banned plastic bags in that area. The number one man-made thing sailors see in our ocean are plastic bags. There are believed to be 46,000 pieces of plastic in every square mile of the ocean. Worldwide, 13,000 to 15,000 pieces of plastic are dumped into the ocean every single day. Every year, 6.4 million tons are dumped into the ocean. That is the same as 3,200 kilometers of trucks, each loaded with garbage. At least two-thirds of the world's fish stocks are suffering from plastic ingestion. Ocean acidification is a growing problem. One of the scariest statistics is that scientists have identified 200 areas declared as dead zones where no life organisms can now grow. See, what we use, even though it seems like it's so small and it wouldn't make such a difference, it affects such massive parts of our life, and especially in the world. I mean, I say this all the time on the podcast, what we do here in New York does affect, the people of the Amazon. I mean, the products that we use, the companies that we support, it all affects each other. Everything affects one another. So the fact that there are 200 dead zones now in the world is a big indicator that our daily practices are really harming the environment. And where else are we going to go? I mean, Mars One expedition didn't take off yet, so if we want to stay on this planet, we really have to make it more habitable for everybody and for animals and, for, just life to thrive. I mean, 200 dead zones is a big issue, and that's only in 2017. How many more dead zones are going to be in 2050? I mean, come on, we have to think about these things. Anything plastic, like plastic bags, are just detrimental for the environment. And plastic bags have such a bad rap now, which is a good thing, but we really need to push them completely over the edge, that many countries are actually banning the bag. If you have seen the hashtag ban the bag or, reusable bags, it is certainly a gigantic movement, especially in the zero waste field, that many people are jumping onto, which is a great thing, but we cannot stop there. There are so many, reasons why we need to use reusable bags, but there's also so many reasons why we need to switch, from other products. And one of those are the silent garbage producing powerhouse that are plastic straws. We actually just had a reusable glass straw company on 2 episodes ago named Glass Dharma. We absolutely love them, and they are extremely passionate in preserving marine life and cleaning up our waterways, in cleaning up our landfills, and we highly recommend checking them out. Again, they are Glass Dharma. We are not professionally affiliated with them. We just promote companies that we believe are really making an impact. So definitely check them out. But not to jump too much into glass straws, but there are a lot of statistics about glass straws that are just alarming. I mean, we use 500 million plastic straws every single day here in the States. Sometimes hearing a number like that really doesn't hit home, but just to put that into perspective, that could fill literally over 130 school buses every single day or 50,000 school buses every single year. That's how much plastic straws that we are using as a society. And that's not even, again, counting globally. That is only here in the States. I mean, 500 million plastic straws every single day. And a lot of times, those straws are literally just automatically added to bags. If you are going to, let's say a restaurant, if you're going to some kind of fast food place, or a drive-through, or anything, a smoothie bar, they just throw the straws in there, like, oh hey, just take a straw, and that one straw is so damaging. And I mean, it is hard for many people to see the damage something so commonly used like a small straw can really have on the environment, but the impact is absolutely massive. I mean, so massive. Plastic straws extract resources. More plastic means more oil and gas extraction and more electricity to power plastic production. Plastic straws are ingested again by marine animals, another product that is completely destroying our marine life, and they are among the top 10 plastic debris found during coastal cleanups. Plastic bags, plastic straws, plastic cups, styrofoam. I mean, so many of these items, styrofoam's a total other beast, but so many of these items that are found in these cleanups, and they're not going anywhere. I mean, they literally just swirl around like a big vortex in the ocean. I mean, we have, again, like we said earlier, 200 dead zones. We have garbage in the middle of the Atlantic that will not move. It's literally like a garbage island. I mean, I'm curious, maybe in the next couple of years, you can probably, set up shop there and live on it. I mean, it's literally almost like another peninsula. It's absolutely crazy. And to keep this episode, shorter and more on the easily digestible side of things so you could share it with friends, we are not even going to bring up the in-depth stats on water bottles that are completely atrocious. We could literally make money back from these water bottles, collecting cans, but people still choose to throw them out. There is no convenience in throwing these things out. What we really should have on these news networks, on the TV, online, like we should really have a camera that shows how something is made, all the resources that are extracted to make that item, and then have a little camera that's attached to this item that follows it through its life cycle and through what happens when you throw it out to see that this stuff is not going anywhere. The more we accumulate, we're such a consumer type of, country. We just consume, and we don't take into consideration the fact that these things are not breaking down. They're not going anywhere. There's no magical place the garbage truck takes these garbage cans. They are being stored in other states. They are being put into over inundated landfills. They are not breaking down. They are not going anywhere. We are literally growing as fast as our garbage consumption is growing. We're all growing together, and one day we're not going to be able to have, just 200 dead zones. We're going to have thousands of dead zones. We're not going to be able to visit the beach like we normally do, especially here on Long Island. The beach is a very big, characteristic of where we live. And there's going to be a point in time where we can't even walk on the beach. That much plastic being pumped into our oceans and our seas, and water life and all these marine animals dying, that is going to take its toll one day. It already is. It's already destroying many species. It's destroying many different types of plants that we can't get back. We can't bring them back once they are gone. It's really staking its claim on our planet. And that's the biggest thing. So with all of these statistics put aside, what's next? What can we possibly do? How do we curb the amount of garbage that we are creating? How do we switch people to more reusable lifestyles? How can we really create more of an eco-friendly footprint and a more, positive outlook on our future if more people aren't getting involved? What can we do? And luckily, being that we are in a time period where we have the internet and the World Wide Web right at our fingertips, we can literally post one tweet, it would be seen across the world. It's absolutely an incredible time to be alive. There is a lot we can do. The first thing is, aside from, having like our own activist type of mindset, which we will get into in a few minutes, you can switch your items that can be reused to reusables. So like we mentioned earlier, Glass Dharma is a glass straw company, family owned and operated glass straw company that provides glass straws, reusable glass straws with a lifetime guarantee to families. So instead of using a plastic straw everywhere you go, you can literally pack a glass straw and you can replace every single plastic straw that you would touch with that one glass straw. And you would save hundreds of plastic straws every single year if you just switched that one item out. Luckily, another very easy thing to switch out of your daily routine are plastic bags. Instead of using plastic bags, use reusable bags. You do not need anything fancy. You could even use a duffel bag if you wanted to, but ditch using plastic bags. Whatever you have right now, rock them until they start falling apart. And I mean not disintegrating, but falling apart with use. So there are a couple bags that I've picked up in my travels for random reasons. Maybe I didn't have a reusable bag, but I literally have one bag that's been used time and time again, maybe the last year and a half, and it still looks just as good as the day that I got it. So, I use that for everything. I'll probably have it for another 2.5 years because I absolutely refuse to throw plastic out. But my daily practice is to constantly have a reusable bag. So right there you have straws, you have reusable bags. Another one that is a huge, huge, huge reusable industry, and this is growing like lightning. I mean, I see so many people adopting this. And then a second close-up is the plastic bags, and that is plastic water bottles. Kick the plastic water bottle habits. Switch to reusable water bottles. There are so many companies out there that provide very, very, very high quality water bottles. For a long time, I used a company called Clean Canteen, and they are a fantastic company. They have steel water bottles. I absolutely love their company and everything that they stand for. Now, I switched to glass bottles, and I don't even use a glass bottle. I use a mason jar. That's how rustic that I am. Hand to God, I use a mason jar. I use a glass straw by Glass Dharma, and, reusable bags. I'm a big proponent of cloth diapering, which is our second one. It may look silly to some, but it works for me, and I've had these mason jars for years. So even just if you kick water bottles, you're going to save hundreds of bottles a year. I mean, think about how much water people drink and how many bottles they're using, whether they go to the gym, if they work out, if they're, outside with their kids, if they have these little mini water bottles everywhere. This is such a wasteful type of habit. That's why switching to a reusable type of bottle really does help to relieve some of that pressure that we have on our landfills, and also decreases the demand that we need for plastics and petroleum. And last but not least, another thing that you can switch out in your routine is diapers. If you have a child, if the child's still in potty training years, you don't want to put a diaper on a 5-year-old, but if you still have a child in diapers, a very, very, very big thing that you can do is switch to reusable diapers, and that is cloth diapers. Now, we've touched on that whole segment on several different episodes. We also have Facebook Lives, we have YouTube videos about it, but super short, reusable diapers are a lot easier on the planet. You can reuse one diaper, for years to come, or you can do what we do. We donate our diapers. We're constantly donating quarterly diapers to different parts of the world, different families in need. I mean, it really does stretch so much, and you can just reuse them. Anything reusable is generally great on the environment. We even have, the holidays coming up. We have Christmas coming up. Instead of buying maybe a sweater for someone, buy them a reusable bottle. Buy them something that's unique, but reusable, something that they can actually use, like reusable napkins. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do to get the word out there. So some organizations that I wanted to share with you guys today before we wrap up, the biggest one that I was actually following that I got a lot of information from was lifewithoutplastic.com. Definitely check them out. They are a fantastic website full of a ton of resources about different coalitions out there against plastic, educating the public. Sharing any content from them is really going to help people get the word out and, receive this information, look at statistics, and make up their own mind. Another one is Plastic Pollution Coalition at plasticpollutioncoalition.com. They are a global alliance of individuals, organizations, and businesses working towards a world free of plastic pollution and its toxic impacts. Another website I wanted to mention to you guys was midwayjourney.com. Chris Jordan and his team bring vivid images and videos of the devastation that plastic is causing one of the most remotest island on the planet, Midway Island. So like I mentioned earlier, what you do in New York affects, what's going on in the Amazon. It's very, very true because everything affects one another. And this is a very important website to share with your friends and family because this is a remote place that is being affected devastatingly by plastic. There are so many organizations that I'm going to miss, but I'll mention one more, and that is riseaboveplastic.blogspot.ca. And it's by oceanrevolution.org, a global movement of people and organizations working for the common cause of healthy, wild, productive planet. So they cover all sorts of different things, but all of these charities have in common, or these organizations, are that they are fighting against plastic. There are small companies, that are fighting against the garbage that is the single-use industry. So you have the single-use industry versus the reusable industry. Now, they have to lose at some point, and they know this. That's why there are some, people that are pulling out of certain, same thing with like the, the meat movement and all that stuff. There are some organizations for like paper towels and toilet paper that are literally putting money into reusables. So we just need to push reusables more because it's very, very important that the people understand that we cannot sustain life as we know it the way that we're going down. Again, I mentioned earlier, we are living on this planet like we have somewhere to go, like we have somewhere else to go. And we're here. And we are going to, just kill ourselves off. I mean, it sounds so dramatic to say that because I mentioned, plastic bag. People will be like, what is wrong with you? That is a plastic bag. Who cares? But walk down your street. I challenge you to walk 5 miles in your neighborhood, in your city, and tell me you do not see one piece of litter. It's not just because people are littering. It's because we are literally running out of places to put this garbage. We are literally overflowing with garbage. We are literally living in a garbage land. And today I went over some of the items that you can switch to reusables to help release that pressure and that tension that we have on our planet and our resources, and some organizations to follow to learn more about it. So definitely share this episode with a friend, re-listen to it a few times, and really seep that information into your brain and share it with others so we can get the word out and we can make some serious, real change that we need for ourselves and our future generation. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Nature's Premier podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope that you subscribe and rate our podcast so we can be seen in front of more like-minded individuals, so we can really promote change, positivity, and chat with you all about living a healthy lifestyle. Thank you all so much for tuning into this week's episode, and until next week, we hope you have a wonderful, stress-free week ahead. Take care, friends.